Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, Mads is Reading. I'm Mads and it is with great shock that I'm saying it's time for my July wrap-up and August TBR. I don't know how July flew by so quickly, but it did, and it's time to wrap up all the books that I read this month. And honestly, this month has been the best reading month I've ever had in my entire life. I'm telling you. I read 9 books this month, none of them were lower than a 4-star. I've never read this many, and I've never read this many, like, 4 or 5-star books in a month. Like, there's always a 3-star in there. So it was so good, and I can't wait to dive into each of these with you. First, I started off the month with Beach Read by Emily Henry, and this one took me a while to finish because I ended up annotating it, and it looks really good. Not my best annotations that I've done, but I do think they turned out really good. This book was just it was so cute, and I love Gus and January. Like, they're just so cute. At first, I was thrown off because they knew each other before, like, they've met before. And typically, I don't like that. It gives, like, second chance romance vibes, and I don't like that. But in this one, it just worked, okay? It just worked, and their chemistry was just on point, and I loved the side characters. It was a 4.5-star read for me. I don't know. I think it was just like missing a little bit something. It didn't make me completely lose my mind, but I did really enjoy it. And I love Emily Henry's writing and just the characters she makes. And honestly, I was expecting this to be just a fun summer read. This book had me like laughing one second and then just like really sad the next. Like, it would say a joke and then it would say this line that just like hits you. And it's just like so sad and it just hits. So this book really just has all the emotions. There's so many different colored tabs in here and so many great quotes. I honestly recommend it. I think I like this one more than Book Lovers, honestly. You know, it just hit different. Next up, I read Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan. I loved this book so much more than I was expecting myself to. I didn't love the Kane Chronicles. It ended up being like a solid 3-star read. I think I went back and like re-rated it. They weren't bad. They were still entertaining. But Magnus Chase gave me the same feelings that Percy Jackson did. And honestly, Magnus Chase as a character could beat Percy on a level of sassiness, and I was not expecting this from another character. But Magnus really just like came in with his like little comments, and I just loved him for it, honestly. And the found family in this book, I did not go into this book expecting a found family trope, and I got one. And honestly, what's better than that? Because it just makes me so happy. So I loved the first book, and something I was not expecting, but apparently Alex Fierro isn't in the first book. Alex is in the second book, and I didn't know that. And so I come into this book and I'm like, where's Alex gonna show? Because I've heard so much about this character. I really wanted to read about this character, and then I was like, I looked it up. I ended up having to look it up. I was like, when does Alex come in? Second book. But it's okay. It's okay, because the first book still just like sent me, it was so good. The adventure was amazing. The plot was amazing. The characters were just, I loved it. The first book was a 4-star read for me. I don't know why. It's just based off vibes, you know? It just didn't have the full 5-star feeling, but it was still so good. After that, I ended up reading Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I read this one for a book club. Was not expecting myself to love this one as much as I did. I do like mysteries every now and then, but I'm not a big thriller girly, and I've never read an adult thriller before, and this one was the first one that I've read. It was insane. Honestly, it makes me want to read Alice Feeney's other books. I didn't like the characters at all. Like, I didn't like the characters, but I still appreciated her writing style and the way she told the story and how real the characters were. Because, yeah, I didn't like them, but they felt like real people. And the twists in this book were just insane. I never knew what was going to happen. I thought I did. I thought I knew what was going to happen, and that all went out the window once I hit the ending, and it just jaw on the floor. I rushed through this book. I ended up reading it in 2 days, and I had it on an ebook. I got it through the Libby app, and I just devoured it. So I'm very, very pleased with this book. The reason I gave it a 4 stars instead of a 5 stars, though, is the last chapter. I honestly thought it was going to be a 5-star read up until I got to this last chapter. It didn't live up to the rest of the book, you know? It just kind of like fell through in the end for me, and I feel like there should have been more to that ending than there actually was, and it was just kind of disappointing, and I just kind of left it on a little bit of a sour note, but it was still just like an amazing book. And then after that one, I ended up reading Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. This one I did end up giving 5 stars to, just because it was so amazing, and I just was going feral the entire time. The characters' interactions just sent me, and you get so much more of Hearth in this one, and it just made me really happy. Also, can I just say the diversity in this book and in this series is just so good, and I feel like it's really well done. At least like that's in my opinion. You have just diversity from almost every character. You have a character who's deaf, you have a character who's Muslim and the daughter of an Asgardian god. And so that balance is just like really cool to see. And then you have another character who's gender fluid, and you get to like learn a little bit about somebody who has this identity. And my favorite line from Alex is that I don't speak for all gender fluid people, like this is just for me, this is just how I feel and how I carry this out. And honestly, I loved that. So Alex, icon. I loved Alex so much, and Magnus's interactions with Alex was perfect. You still get the found family in this book, and so much in this book I was just not expecting it to happen. This book, I'm honestly disappointed I haven't read this book sooner. I can't wait to read the third one. I didn't end up getting to the third one in this month. I will be getting to it in August. After that, I read Vicious by V.E. Schwab. How did I not read this sooner? This book was gifted from Mel and Jackie, who have their own podcast, and you should totally go check them out because they're just so funny and so amazing, and I love the way they talk about books. This book was so good. I realize I haven't explained any of the plots of these books. Vicious is about these two guys who are in college, and in one of their projects they're trying to learn about these EOs, or extraordinaries, and one of them comes up with the idea of, why don't we try turning ourselves into extraordinaries and really carry this thesis out. And so they do, and they work to become extraordinaries, and it kind of just all blows up. One of them turns against the other, and then they both end up hating each other. One of them goes to prison and the other is set free, and then it's just kind of them battling it out. You get flashbacks from when they were in college, so you get to see them develop then, and then you get like the current day, what's happening now with the current plot of them basically just trying to destroy each other. It very much gives Professor X versus Magneto. Like, I got strong X-Men vibes, even more in the second book. And this one does have found family. I read this for my found family book club that I created. It's available on Fable if you want to check us out. The found family I loved, okay? Because you have Victor and Sydney and Mitch, 3 people you would not throw together at all, but they work so well. I did not like Eli. I lived for Victor. I loved Victor. Eli sucked, and so did Serena. Hated them. And I know some people like Eli, but I just can't. I'm sorry. I love Victor though. He very much is an anti-hero, very morally gray, but he's just a baby. I want to protect him. I know, the logic is flawed. Don't come at me. The next book is one that I started off my road trip with. Last week I posted a vlog from my road trip, and so these next few books are ones that you kind of see discussed there a little bit, but now I'm going to actually kind of dive into them a little bit more. And that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This book, okay? This one was recommended to me by Elsa and Alyssa. They have been yelling at me for a very, very, very long time to read this, and I finally did. I loved Caraval, but I was scared to read this one because I was afraid it wouldn't live up to the hype, especially because so many people I love it, so I didn't want to like let them down if I didn't like it. But I finally decided to read it, and it was so good. About this girl, Evangeline, who makes a deal with the Fate named Jax, which you get introduced to in the Caraval series, and it kind of just messes her life up so much. She ends up becoming her own country's or town's or city's hero and gets sent off to the north where her mom is from, and has the chance to kind of earn the prince's love. So it's just kind of like this carrying out, and so many things just keep getting messed up. You do get a little bit of Scarlet and Donatella in this one, and it made me so happy. I was not expecting to see a cameo from them, but you get it, and it just, I was just smiling like an idiot while reading this one because just you get to see them after the final events of finale. And it just made me really happy, okay? I love those two girls and I just want to know where they're at. I want them to be happy. The tension between Jax and Evangeline was just peak. It was so good. It was carried out so well. And you know it's gonna be a slow burn. And I love a good slow burn, even though it kills me. Like it pains me to wait for them to get together, but it just makes it all the more worth it when they do. I can't wait to read The Ballad of Never After. I don't have it yet though. I need to get it before I read it because this is one of those books that I just need to physically own and appreciate it. I just have a problem to where I need to own every book I read. I'm aware that it's a problem. But I'm on a book buying ban. I'm like officially on a book buying ban until further notice. If I come across it and it's a good deal, I might get it. We'll see how this goes. But I love this book. 5 stars. I don't think I said that. It's a 5-star read. Obviously. Also, it had me on the edge of my seat so many times. I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I'm just kind of like holding a breath. Like, I don't want any harm to come to Evangeline or Jax. And I know there won't be any harm because they're in a series, but it still just like grips you. Like the characters are addicting and the world is so magical. It really just pulls you in and I should probably move on from this book, but it's so good. It feels so much like a fairy tale. After that one, I read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was debating between 4.5 and 5-star, and I finally decided it to be a 5-star, and what carried that through was the Riva siblings, okay? Their dynamic, I was living for it. I loved them. This book is about this famous singer Mick Riva, which you get introduced to in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. He is in fact one of Evelyn Hugo's 7 husbands. And you learn about this love story he had with this woman and the kids that they end up having together, and it kind of bounces between the past and like Nick and June's love story and like their life carrying out and the present with these 4 siblings and them just being adults. You get to see them grow up a little bit too, and I loved it. This book was so sad. Like, it's just tragic, all these things that happen to them, and you just want these 4 siblings to be happy, but there's like so little happiness, and it makes me so sad. But I just loved their story, and I loved the way the story was told, and this one party really does just change the entire course of their lives, but in a good way. I just loved this book so much. Then after that, we have my favorite read of July. That is The Sun Bear Trials by Aiden Thomas. This book just made me so happy, okay? The diversity, the characters, the twist at the end. This book is about this trial that takes place once every decade, and the trial is to declare a new sun bearer, which will go around filling these stones that'll keep these evil dioses out and banished so they don't like come in and destroy everything like they did so long ago. And it's just this Latinx mythology, and it's so good. It's very much giving Percy Jackson but with more competition vibes, kind of like Percy Jackson with a little bit of Hunger Games in it. There can be one winner in this trial, and the loser of this gets sacrificed, and their soul or essence or whatever they're used to refill the soul stones that keep away these obsidian evil dioses. And it follows this main character, Teo, who gets chosen to be a sun bearer despite the fact that he's a jade. And the jade gods are kind of like a little bit lower than the gold ones, and it's always the gold ones that become sun bearers. The last jade semidios that got chosen to be in these trials ended up being the sacrifice. So he basically gets chosen, and he's like, oh, I'm doomed. And of course, it just follows through each of these trials, the hardships that goes through them. And honestly, the trials are just so insane. And Teo grows so much as a character in this book, and I'm so proud of him. And then we have his best friend, Nia. She's just like this like really just like buff, tough girl. And she's just so funny. And just I love her interactions and just the way she interacts with Teo and the other golds, because she's a gold, but she's not like one of those like mean ones. She's kind of an outcast herself. And so it just makes her interaction with Teo a little bit more meaningful because she kind of understands, and they're best friends. And I love it. Zio reminded me so much of Nico D'Angelo. This kid's just been through so much, and I just want to give him a hug. And then we have Aurelio. I hated him at first, okay? I hated him in the beginning, and I'm like, he's horrible. I don't know why he was ever friends with Teo. I don't know why Teo was ever friends with him. Why did this happen? Why did you hurt Teo? He grows on you. He really grows on you. And I can't wait to see more of him in the next book. And then you have his twin sister, Arcella. She sucked. And we have Ocello, who also sucked. Did not like them. They were entertaining every now and then. Like sometimes, like they're kind of funny, but I don't know. They're just like a bully for no reason, and it just irked me a lot. I can't wait to see in the next book to see what their character is like and to see how different they are outside of the trials. The diversity in this book was just insane. You have the main character, Theo, who is trans and gay, and you have Nia, who's I don't know, but she kind of just like has a crush on everybody, and she's just always like, everybody's so hot. And then Zio is also transgender, and then Ocello is non-binary and goes by they them pronoun. Even if I didn't like them that much, I still just like appreciated their part in the story. And then we have, I believe it's Desi, who is deaf, and so a lot of the characters will be communicating with sign language throughout the book, and so you see him and his mom communicating through sign language, and it's just really wholesome. I just love Aiden Thomas's writing style. Aiden Thomas, you have my heart. The book I finished up the month with is Vengeful by B.E. Schwab. I didn't like this one as much, and I kind of dragged through a little bit. It did take me a lot longer to get through, which felt really slow. And you have these new characters that I just like really didn't care about. Like Marcella, sorry, I just don't care about her. I did like some aspects of her character. Like she's just this powerful woman who's like, I'm a powerful woman, I'm gonna take you all down and lead the mob. And I'm like, you know what? Go you. But I feel like the story wasn't supposed to be about her, and it ended up being about her. And I just didn't love that. Loved Victor, but there was a lot more just like angst with my little found family in this one, which hurt my heart. There are a lot of aspects to this book that I didn't love, but I still found it really enjoyable, and I did get very strong X-Men vibes. Even more so in this one, like the action was kind of insane. You have this new group coming in who's here to take down the EOs and the Extraordinaries, and it just like puts a whole new level of pressure and stakes on it, and I just love that. Gotta love some good stakes. I didn't love it. It was a 4-star read, but it was still a really good story, and I really need to read V.E. Schwab's other books now because I'm curious to see like how different they are, how similar they are, to see if I like them as well. So I can't wait for that. Okay, those are all the books that I read in the month of July, and that was 9 books, and I'm so proud of myself. 2 of them I got from the library, 1 of them I got online on an ebook, and then the rest were owned by me. And I love getting through my physical TBR. That's really my goal right now, is to get through my physical TBR. So I have been doing really good with that. Next up, I have my August TBR slash hopefuls. Some of them are probably definite I'm gonna get to, and then the others are just kind of like more of a hope than an actual just TBR. I don't know why, but I've started this month, or kind of ending July, in the mood for a little angst. I don't know why, okay? I just am. And so I'm starting out August with The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I've already started it. I'm about 130 pages into it, and it is the last day of July. So it will be finished in August because there's no way I'm reading this much tonight after I just got done with work. Not happening. So I love this book so far, and I'm already getting really emotionally attached to the characters, and I know it's not going to end well for me, okay? Like, it's literally called The First to Die at the End. The ending is in the title, but I'm so attached. I'm just like, maybe they won't die. Maybe something will happen and they won't die. Let me live in my delusions, okay? I'm already obsessed with this book, and it's about the beginning of the Death Cast, which is introduced in They Will Die at the End, and kind of the first person to get this call from them saying you're gonna die in 24 hours, and this carries out. So I'm starting the month out with this one. Hopefully I'll finish it by the end of the week. 50 pages in, and I was already like kicking, giggling, screaming. So I know this is gonna be a 5-star read, and I know it's just gonna destroy me. The book I am the most excited to read is one I've already read, but August is Red, White, and Royal Blue month. Well, Heartstopper and Red, White, and Royal Blue month. And so that means it's time for a reread. I've read this book like 3 times already, okay? 2 of the reads were in the same year because I just adore this book so much. It honestly is probably my favorite book. Just the chemistry, the romance, the plot, the family. It has my heart. So in preparation for August 11th, which is also my birthday, me and Elsa are going to be buddy reading Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't know when we're going to start it exactly. I feel like I'm going to like speed through it pretty quickly. I know the original plan was for me to annotate it, but I don't feel like doing that. And I feel like I've talked about rereading this in so many videos, but the time is now. It is finally here. And I'm gonna get to reread it. I've been waiting, so now I'm just gonna finish up The First to Die at the End and get to this one. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really excited. And then I'm just planning a little bit ahead. I feel like after this book, it's gonna be hard for me to read another book just because of how much I love this one. And I'm scared that it's gonna feel like the next book isn't gonna live up to it. So I'm doing something logical and reading Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall because I've heard that it kind of gives off similar vibes to Red, White, and Royal Blue. Obviously not the same kind of thing, like it's fake dating. We have like this kid of two rock stars trying to prove himself to his parents by getting a boyfriend, fake boyfriend, but I am still looking forward to it, and hopefully it'll help some of the Red, White, and Royal Blue brain rot. I also want to read the last book of the Magnus Chase series, The Ship of the Dead, I believe is what it is called. I know already that's gonna be a 5-star read, and I can't wait to read it. I'm gonna zoom through it. I need to get that series just because I need to own it. And then I also have Verona Comics by Jennifer Dugan. I got this one recently, and I just really want to read it. It just seems really cute, and it's a short one, and I want to explore Jennifer Dugan as an author, so I'm gonna read this one. I heard it might have summer vibes, but it just looks really cute. It's about these two characters who are kids of like competing comic book stores, and so it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in modern day. It's called Verona Comics, and I just think that's really cute. Also by Jennifer Dugan. As Some Girls Do. This one is summer vibes, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure this does take place during summer, so I just want to get through it for the summer. Like before the summer ends, I want it to be included while the summer vibes are still here, and so I can kind of like fit the vibes a little bit. I'm still looking forward to this one a lot. It is about this girl who got outed at her last school and has to come to a new one, and this girl who's at this new school who kind of just like takes her along, and I don't know. Also, we have Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. I just need to get to this one, and it has summer vibes, so I should probably finish it before the summer ends. I'm kind of intimidated by it. I'm really scared I'm not gonna like it, but I just gotta rip that band-aid off. And then I also have Under the Spring Door by TJ Klune. I read The House on the Cerulean Sea about 2 months ago now, and I just adored that book. I've just heard really good things about it. I can't wait for all of these. I also might get to a couple of others. I want to read The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I don't know if I'm actually gonna get to this one this month, just because like I haven't been in the mood to read it, and I think what's throwing me off is how long it is. Like it's a really long one, but also the fact that it is a second chance romance. I don't like second chance romances, like it's just not my vibes, so I'm kind of scared to read it, but I want to read it just to like get the series done, like finish off the series strong, and I don't like leaving a series unfinished, so I do have to read it eventually, and I want to get through it in August. I don't know yet, so we'll just see about that one. I have to pull up my Kindle now. I got Kindle Unlimited for like 2 months. I think I paid $5 for it, so I'm just gonna see how this goes. I also want to read Prince of Sorrows by Kellen Graves. I've just heard really good things about this one, and it always looked really interesting to me. I don't know what it's about, but I just want to read it. I don't know, that's kind of like it for my August TBR. There's some other books that I might get to, might not get to. It depends on my mood. Might read some other like Kindle Unlimited books, but we will see how it goes. That was it. That was my July reading wrap up and my August TBR. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all had an amazing reading month. Please let me know what your favorite book was, what your least favorite book was, how your July reading month went, or just how July went in general. I would love to know. Please like and subscribe below, and I will see you all next week for a book haul. Bye!